All right, welcome to Your Poor Dad, the mini-sode of Call Her Daddy. Fuck. Call Her Dirty.
Call her Darty.
Okay, welcome to the Your Poor Dad mini-sode reacting to the Jamie Lynn Spears interview of Call Her Daddy. Originally, we intended for this to be a 2-part series, but after listening to part 2 and after seeing our reactions to part 1, we really don't want to contribute to any more hate on the internet. And I feel like part 2 of the interview kind of gave a more of a full story of what's going on. So we really are only going to release part 2. And by the way, we recorded for over an hour in part 1. Nobody wants to fucking listen to that after we've already heard part 2. So you're going to get a nice condensed part 2, 20-minute little version. Paige, do you have anything to say?
Agreed.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Oh my God, your poor dad.
We're back. Your Poor Dad, minisode part 2. We're back.
The Call Her Daddy Jamie Lynn Spears interview.
Yep. First of all,
okay, go.
thank goodness it finally came out.
Thank God. I was worried.
Worried also.
I thought that they weren't going to release it.
I have not obsessed over a podcast release ever, and I literally kept refreshing. I was
Me too.
It's got to be out. It's got to be out. It's got to be out.
Yeah. And after Britney's team sent that cease and desist,
That's
I thought
real.
we were never. Well, I consulted with some lawyers on my Instagram because I sent out a call for legal help, and I was like, "Is this real? Would this inhibit us from getting this episode?" And everyone said it's real, but one guy actually had a very interesting point. He said the way this is written, they removed Jamie Lynn's address, so they were anticipating this being leaked. So they probably wrote it so it would be leaked.
So it was more of a
Interesting.
media thing than a legal action thing.
I think it was a media play.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And so that is very interesting. But one of my friends did say, they're like, you're going to get your episode. This is just kind of like a fodder. But I think we should say our initial, our overall thoughts of it,
Okay.
in general. Because I felt shocked.
And appalled.
And appalled. And I was, a little bit more empathizing with Jamie Lynn in the first one, but I completely felt like she got her point across better in this one than she did in the first one.
I do agree. And I do think that had pretty much everything to do with Alex re-asking questions, clarifying questions. Can you show me this text? I can anticipate people are going to be thinking this, I think she did a really good job of clarifying some of those gray areas.
Yes.
Because one of the issues I had with part 1 was that she wasn't really she was saying things without saying anything. You know what I mean?
It was vague.
It was way
very
too
much
vague.
Trying to be tactful and careful about what she's going to say. And this one was kind of more fuck it, I guess.
Yeah, and
If we're here, let's do it,
Yeah, and Alex was like, all right, show the receipts. Let's go.
Yeah. And I think she did show a lot of receipts. I think the overall vibe I got from Jamie Lynn is kind of what I said last time, is that I think she has had it with the online bullshit with her kids and her family, and these vague statements of my family, and then everyone goes to her and they put all the blame on her because Jamie Lynn is her sister. And everyone expects sisters to protect each other.
And she was also in the public eye too. So that's the first person you think of as Britney's family member.
And people can't get to Brian or Lynn or Jamie like they can Jamie Lynn. And I also was super interested in the fact of I really empathized with her relationship with Britney being so up and down.
I did too.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what Britney's status is. I would never want to say somebody is an addict, but it felt like addict behavior.
Yeah.
And she might not even be an addict, but their father's an addict. So maybe it's a learned behavior that she has.
It's minimally erratic,
Yes.
to where it's
Yes.
we don't know the cause or whatever, but this is this behavior, there's something going on there. You
Right.
know, like it's not healthy and not like how you would want a relationship to be with anyone that you are close with. you know?
I kept like thinking, I don't even know how long, but like definitely when she had her TikToks and like her Instagram the past like year-ish or whatever, and not just us, but like a lot of other people have been like, does she have her phone? Does someone else have her phone? Is she posting? Is someone else like there's been this big controversy of like, is she even like in charge of her own phone? And I just like that question kept coming up in my mind, like in this part too, whenever it was like, oh, I would reach out to Britney and I wouldn't hear anything. So then I would text her boyfriend or I would text her assistant and then nothing, no response yet. Then I would get a response like a month later, like a few weeks later about something completely different. And I'm like, man, what if like she either didn't have her phone or her messages were being monitored and like removed? You know what I mean? So it's like they're there on like Jamie Lynn's side, but like maybe Britney didn't even see them. Like, like there's just so many options. Like, or Britney's just like choosing to, because I do think that I do understand, like weirdly enough, like how they could have this is my sister relationship and this is, I don't even know, like a more public relationship. You know what I mean? And so how they could just ignore certain conversations and then just respond to the more like sister type about cousins and like whatever.
Yeah, it's almost like a business relationship, and then they have like this sister relationship and they don't talk about the business stuff. They kind of let that play out on social media and in the press, and then they act like nothing's wrong in their sister relationship.
Yeah.
But did you guys notice when you're reading the screenshots how Jamie Lynn has Britney's name saved?
My sister.
Why don't you think that's weird?
I don't think like that. I don't think that's weird at all.
It's not weird at all. Like, why would you have Britney Spears?
Because it's her name.
I think
it would just be
there's just way too many people that have like bro or like
brother,
like
or people like always name their parents like mommy, my mom's favorite. Like you have it saved in dad's phone, or
the best mistake I ever made.
Yeah, like I think that's weird. Like I don't name people's cutesy names, and like your guys' names in my phone are Bailey Brandt, Paige Brandt, but like,
well, and it would be weirder. It would be. I say this, but like your name is Jade in my phone. Yours is Bailey Brandt. I don't know why. But like it would be weird. Britney is a very common name. Yeah. It would be weird to have Britney Spears.
It's not like when she's your sister. But like about who she's texting.
I know, but this is just like
I don't think that's weird.
I think it's not weird at all.
I agree.
I completely disagree, and
I think that it's not weird.
I think it's so weird.
Okay. Anyways.
I hate you guys for not caring about this because I had a whole theory about it too.
Like, then say your theory.
Well, because like since Britney is public, she like wants like either keep that for herself or it's like a thing where it's like I have this special connection with this person,
maybe,
or something like that. I think it's so weird that it's my sister.
But even so, that's kind of cute if that is the reason. I think that makes it more of like a sister. It honestly adds to the case that they are real like sisterly sisters. Then.
And it adds to the case of like them having all these ups and downs. Mm-hmm. And if it sounded like from part 2, like she has always kind of like craved a close relationship, and she hasn't always gotten a close relationship. So, I mean, to your point, it's like, oh, I want to feel closer to this person. She probably does. Like, she wants to remember, like, every time she sees her number pop up, like, yeah, my sister. We have this forever bond.
Yeah.
Screw you guys, it's weird.
Okay. Anyways. Right. I was, speaking of the text messages, that long text message that she sent Britney, I think that was like the most pivotal piece of evidence.
Oh, yeah.
I agree.
In this entire time of Britney being under the conservatorship. I think it's even more pivotal than every documentary that's come out about her, like all of the people around her, because it kind of shows, like, it literally lifted the veil on everything. It showed that Lynn
is still pissed at Jamie. It shows that Jamie was over being the conservator, which I think we've all had this. I mean, and this is coming from Jamie Lynn's perspective, so we don't know. But it seemed like they had to fight to get him to step down. But in reality, it kind of seemed like he wanted to step down. So I'm wondering if Britney's lawyer was making it like dragging this shit out so he could get paid.
Yeah.
And make it harder on the family. Why? Get out.
And it also did make more sense that if it's... I think it also makes sense why there would be so much more in the, like, legal realm and things being dragged out with Lynn having a personal vendetta against Jamie.
Yes.
You know, like, to kind of, I don't know, like a weird, like, punishment kind of thing about, like, all of that. And then Jamie Lynn's like, okay, but why are we using the conservatorship for this?
Yeah, like
That you guys
things are
other.
getting messy. Like things
Yeah.
aren't. We're losing track of like what the purpose is here.
Yeah, and it's almost like Lynn was deciding now to step up for whatever reason. Like, I don't know if it's her public image, but she really doesn't have one anymore, so I don't know why she would do that for that. But like the fact that she inserted herself in the conservatorship, it's like, why now?
I think just because everything got so public, and then it's just like,
But
yeah,
this was
screw-
2020 when she sent that text, which was interesting because that was last
I
fall.
need to see more timeline.
That was like a long time ago. Like we're in 2022.
Yeah.
So like
fall.
a
yeah.
lot of 2 falls ago.
Yeah, like a year and a few months.
So that makes me feel so my feelings on this are like, I do feel like she was backed into a corner and she had to present these text messages.
Yes.
And as unfortunate as that is, it needed to happen in order to lay anything to rest. I do also think that the
Thank you.
I do also think that, like, I keep going back to like, why now, right?
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, I am remembering that, like, okay, it takes a while to write a book. So this book was like way well in motion like, years ago, right? And so I'm like, okay, like that's fine, like that check, like everything checks out. I don't know what, and I don't necessarily think it's like on Jamie Lynn. Something just like feels weird still, you know?
I think there's also probably, I think like from our perspective, it's like, this is not like, why are you doing this now? But to her perspective, there's probably a lot more going on behind the scenes where it feels like this is a pressure cooker where it's like, I need this to end now. Because I think she did a better job explaining it in this episode of like, she's done with the drama. And really, Jamie Lynn isn't that public of a person. Like, she posts on Instagram and stuff, but she's never like in the press being like, she's not writing the shit that Britney writes. Like, she's like very much a mom in Louisiana. You can tell like they live a very normal life just by the way they dress. I mean, my God, she had like a little bow in her hair in the Zoom. I was like, that's cute. That's like what normal people
It's what she's
wear.
doing. I think that all things are true. Like, I think that Jamie is having her experience in this life and Britney is having too, and they both can have their feelings and both of them can be true. And it could also be true that like, yeah, this is great press for Jamie Lynn's book, and like it's all true. It's all nuanced.
I just think that like we are truly like witnessing like such a family tragedy unfold.
Yeah.
That so many families experience on like different levels, similar levels, like whatever, but we just don't know about it because they're not Britney Spears. Like they are not the Spears family. And I think I'm just really sad.
Yeah, it made me really
I'm
sad.
really
and you could
sad.
tell she was really sad. That's the vibe I got from it. I felt like she was sad about her relationship with her sister, but I feel like she was also pissed that this is going on. And I think she has been pushed to her breaking point.
And I also think it's really sad for Britney too, because I don't
So
think
sad.
that she
Sorry.
good catch. I don't think that she knows, like, she's just like so out of touch because she
Yes.
has to have been for so long.
Yeah.
And like they just can't see that they're really saying similar things. And like the whole post that Britney did about the chocolate thing, like she's saying that like Jamie Lynn was like a brat and stuff. And it's like
Jamie Lynn said she was a brat.
but also
and she probably was way more selfish than Jamie Lynn's presenting it. But that's because she was a child that was acting out and trying to get the attention that she like wanted because
she was
wasn't
not
getting,
parented.
you know?
something else
And
that
so it's like all
I don't
of
think-
it is true.
Yeah.
Like
and like something that I also thought of today listening to it, it's like the way all of this is playing out, especially the way Britney is responding to like over social media. I truly think that like Britney being out of touch, like she doesn't know any other life besides a super public life, you know? So it's like this could like it doesn't phase her as much as it phases Jamie Lynn, you know? So it's like Britney Spears has had no choice but to live
This is her
every
pattern.
like things that she didn't want to personal things she didn't want to talk about, like she's always had to talk about. And
yeah.
I think she probably can't really empathize with the fact that Jamie Lynn doesn't have those exact same experiences and she's been able to live a more private life. And Britney can't understand like how hurtful it could be, like putting everything on blast. And that's why Jamie Lynn is like broken, having to kind of play the same game.
And
probably
to that
having some
point-
resentment for that
And
too.
I think to that point, I think Jamie Lynn is frustrated why Britney doesn't get the fuck out of LA.
Yep.
And I think it seems like, and she said it, she's like, why don't you come to Louisiana?
Yeah.
Like, and I've always wondered that. Like, and I think I've read things or like heard things that their family has also been like, why didn't she go back to Louisiana? I think Britney even said that in her documentary that came out after she shaved her head, and it was like her comeback or whatever when she was promoting Circus. She was like, why didn't I go back to Louisiana? Why? Remember when she was in that red turtleneck?
No, I don't watch that.
Oh my God.
I mean, bottom line, I just think sad. Like
It's completely sad.
This is
Jamie Lynn needs Al-Anon not only to deal
Yeah.
with her dad, but probably to deal with Britney too, because Britney
Yeah.
has some sort of issue going on, and she's clearly been. My God.
Well, and it's good for like any kind of codependency if she
Yeah.
feels
Yeah.
like she's always had to be like, if she feels that she's like always had to like only exist in a way that is helpful or compliant with like what's going on around her instead of like how she is actually feeling,
right.
that'll still it's all good.
Yeah.
I feel like she's had like therapy though. She seems
like she's had
therapized.
therapy.
For sure.
Yeah. She's also seemed like she was processing a lot during this interview. Like,
absolutely.
and I think Alex kind of pointed that out. But I think, honestly, Call Her Daddy's hit or miss for me. I've been listening since the beginning, and I thought Alex Cooper did a really good job.
I thought she did a great job.
I mean, I think like good for her, and she is wonderful. I think that this is the first podcast I've listened to of Call Her Daddy.
And although I was like I was getting so annoyed for like part two, I'm so glad that another reason why I think it took so long is because that follow-up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm like, thank God we got
Thank
those.
God.
I was
we
honestly
did-
kind
yeah.
of worried about how they were going to talk about the conservatorship, because I feel like in part one, like it was very much like Jamie
'Cause it
Lynn
was
got these
different.
questions beforehand. It was kind of rehearsed. It was like very much like
And it was when she like
ask these questions and like let's not get any too like much awkward pushback and like whatever.
yeah, Jamie Lynn talked to her lawyer. Like, you know that like once Britney like put those Instagram posts out yesterday,
That's
day
when that
before, whatever it
follow-up
was,
came up, you know.
she's like, what can I legally say and do? How much can I say and do?
Yeah.
You know, and I bet they went through everything. Like, we have to ensure that we know that these texts were on this date at this time, ensure that this was in fact the right phone number, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
all these things, like, and because what she said, she was like, well, this is a fact, so I can say it.
Yeah.
So it's like that makes me think that like anything that could be like, well, that's just the way you perceived
Which
it.
she did say
isn't-
that a lot in the first one of like, well, I can talk about my experience, and this time it's
Right.
like it's just still what's happening
So
on her end.
that-
And also, like,
Just wild.
check those receipts.
Yeah. And I think, you know, you wanted to be a singer at one point, but
Yeah.
I
So does
think
Hank.
I'm really clearly we have two people competing for stardom here. No, but I'm really glad you never became famous because, but also I was having a thought here, and I really think that like this is almost like one of those like sliding doors or final destination moments where it's like I think the Spears family would have gone through this no matter what position they've been in. I mean, clearly they were given like it's the American dream.
Well, because it doesn't matter, to your point, it's like it doesn't matter how much money or fame that you have. Like, it truly, like, the core of your family is everything.
Yeah.
Like, those parents did not give their kids, you know, all of their kids a good, stable environment because they had a lot of issues that they needed to work out that they weren't able to work out. And that you can't change that if you have all the money unless you decide to do the work, you know, go to counseling, like all that kind of stuff and try to like work past that. But it doesn't matter. Like you can be Joe Blow, or you can be Britney fucking Spears.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, because it seems like a very Southern thing of like, well, we're not going to talk about our, like,
Yeah.
we're going to present the best version of ourselves, and we're not
Yeah.
going to talk about this. We're not going to air out our dirty laundry. But then, like, it just, like, the scale got so big and out of control, and, like, it's not just let's hide our dad's alcoholism and stuff and, you know, pretend like he didn't say that weird thing at the party last week. Now it's like, let's lock Britney away and pretend like our daughter isn't pregnant and stuff.
All I can say is because of the sadness that I feel, I'm going to take a step back and hope a lot of other people do.
I hope people stop
Yeah.
calling her.
I really think that, I mean, I think people need to stop, you know, bullying Jamie Lynn. I think they need to stop like feeding Britney. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like there's so much like fuel being added here, which is resulting in like, you know, armies like launching chaos here. It's like, I think everyone just needs, like, this is truly a family matter that
Yeah.
we should not be seeing unfold, but we are because of
Yeah.
who they are. And but they're sisters, and that's like, we're sisters. Like, that's just, it's so sad. Like, it's just,
Yeah. And
tragic.
at the end of the day, they are sisters, and hopefully they do repair this at some point. And it's like, if you're a Britney fan, you should want that. You should want her to have a relationship with her family. You should want this to be a better situation. That's how I feel. And
Yeah.
I
Right.
just feel like everyone, hello. God, the worst co-host ever.
yeah, I just hope they can all get in a better place, and like individually and together.
Yeah. So maybe if you're a therapist, you should reach out to the Spears family and host a very
yeah.
intensive workshop.
Yeah.
But I think that was a pretty good breakdown of the mini-sode.
was good.
I'm glad we're all on the same page here.
Me too. Sign us
Thank you guys for listening. Hope you guys are all on the same page. Hope everyone leaves Britney and Jamie Lynn alone. Let's all send them some good thoughts, and goodbye.
Subscribe, follow,
yeah.
all the things.
Leave us a bunch of comments.
Yes.
Tell us what you think. If you're a part of the Britney army, tell us why we're wrong and why we should still hate Jamie.
Yeah. Cancel us.
No, don't do that.
Okay. Okay, bye. Bye.
Goodbye.